Well, if you enjoy this, I'd like you to sign my manifesto.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Please, yeah. I've been wanting to meet you for a while, actually, because I'm somebody with lived experience of cancer. I had leukemia when I was 19.
Oh, cool.
Was on chemo for about a year.
Wow.
Moved down to London, so started working in PR, went to university, did it for a year, then dropped.
While being treated?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Tell me about your life choices. So I felt very lucky my cancer was caught early, but I also saw, despite having a brilliant surgeon and a brilliant clinical nurse specialist, I saw when I was in hospital just how flat out the ward staff were. The first time I cried after my operation was when I got home and I'd kind of settled down in the living room, I was fine, and then when it was time to go up to bed, I went upstairs. I looked down at my bed, which is like fairly low, and I realised, because I had like abdominal surgery, I couldn't get into bed. And every time I moved, I felt like I was going to burst open. I actually spent quite a bit of time under a pseudonym on the Macmillan forums giving out advice to people. Yeah, because I just thought, you know, I've kind of been through this now, I'd like to help other people. Yeah. And while I was going through it, I was kind of reporting back on like how I found things and what people should prepare for. What I'm hearing all the time from people is like they're really frustrated with the system and the waiting, but they love the staff, they can see they're busting a gut, but they're in intolerable conditions.
I've probably cost the NHS about 2 million quid to keep me alive. My stem cell transplant in the US would have been 750k.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It would have bankrupted my parents.
I imagine like you've been confronted with that sort of bill, and that's
right.
Like, I never ever want people when they fall ill to worry about the bill, and for me that is the best thing about the NHS, and I really mean it when I say over my dead body would we privatise the NHS. I think that's what we've got to work to preserve and to save, and if we don't make the right choices now, if we don't turn the ship around, I really fear about whether it is going to be there for us in the future. The change I'm talking about is often the change that staff and patients are crying out for, and the thing that gives me probably the greatest confidence that we can do the job is the policies in our manifesto are things that we've seen working in parts of the NHS, but we need to see working throughout the NHS.
Whole-scale adoption.
Yeah, and that's and I hope that gives people reassurance that like our policies aren't things I've cooked up, but they're things that I've seen NHS staff deliver and be really proud of. You know, when I say modernise or die, that's not a threat.
But to protect something that you love.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's in real jeopardy. Yeah. It's in real jeopardy. We're the lucky ones, but we shouldn't feel lucky. Our experience should be the common experience of cancer patients and other patients.
We touched on it. What would make you happy in terms of achieving change?
I want people, when they need to see a GP, they're able to see one. When they dial 999, they have the confidence of knowing the ambulance will arrive. When they walk into A&E, they know that they'll be seen on time. When something goes wrong, they know the NHS will be there for them. And when they think about either old age or disability, it's not something people ever fear because they know that the support will be there. Some of that I think we can achieve in 5 years. I think it'd be hard, but I think in 5 years we can get NHS waiting times back to the standards that the NHS sets for itself. Some of the change in terms of having an NHS, particularly in terms of the new treatments, the new technologies, the medical science revolution, I think to be the envy of the world again, which is my ambition, I think that probably is a decade in the making. I think that probably the biggest, we're like 3 weeks out now from the general election, I think the biggest hurdle we face now isn't the Conservative Party, it's cynicism and people who kind of think,
can change
even happen? Aren't you all the same? Aren't you going to break your promises? So that's the thing we really need to focus on in the next few weeks, is earning people's trust and giving them hope that change is possible if they give change a chance.
Well, I wholeheartedly wish you every bit of luck, because change is needed and we want to make sure that everybody's living happy, healthy lives.
That's lush.
Lovely.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank
No
you.
problem at all.